President, please be seated. The court is back in session, and the floor is now given to the co-prosecutors to resume the questioning to this witness. You may now proceed. National Deputy Co-Prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President. Continuing from what I asked you before the break time, did you know where those people were arrested to? Answer. They were arrested and placed in Otragun Pagoda. Question concerning Otragun Pagoda. What was Otragun used for at that time? Why people were brought into that pagoda? Answer. After the arrival of Southwest Catrace, Otragun Pagoda was turned into a security center. Question. Where was the location of that pagoda? In what district, village, and commune was the pagoda situated? Answer. The pagoda was located in Sambu Mi A village, PM Chikong commune, Kong Mies district. Question. How far was it from Sakso village to that pagoda? Answer. It was about, over 1 kilometer. Co-prosecutor, you said that pagoda was turned into a security center after the arrival of Southwest Catrace. When did that pagoda become the security center? Answer. In late 1976 and early 1977. Question. I wanted to know what was the security center used for? I mean, what kind of people were brought into that security center? Answer. I do not know. I noticed that people were sent from different places into that security center. Question. Concerning the people who were arrested and sent to that Otragun Pagoda, why were people sent into that Otragun Pagoda? Answer. They were sent into the pagoda to be killed. Question. How do you know? Why did you say these people were sent into the pagoda to be killed? Answer. Those who were brought into that pagoda would never return. Question. How far were you from Old Rokun Pagoda to your house? Answer. The distance from my house to Old Rokun Pagoda was about 200 meters away. Question. Did you know about the incidents happening in that Otakun Pagoda? You made mention a while ago that people were brought into Otakun Pagoda to be killed. So how do you know that?
ពួកខ្ញុំបានដឹងតែពី
Answer. Whenever they wanted to kill people, they would bring people into the pagoda, and the loud music would be played. Question. Did you hear the loud music being played over the loudspeaker very often? Answer. After I returned from work at night time, I would hear the loud music being played over the loudspeaker once in every 3, 4, or 5 days. Question. From what time until what time did you hear the loud music being played over the loudspeaker? Answer. The loud music most of the time was played from 10 p.m. until night time. Question. Do you mean that the loud music would be played from 10 p.m.? Answer. Yes, that is true. Question. What time did they stop playing the loud music? Answer. The music would be played for 1 or 2 hours. Question. Besides the loud music from the loudspeaker, did you hear any other sound? Answer. Sometime while I was at home, I would hear the sound for help. Question. Could you describe it, whether the sound was from male or female, and how was the sound? Answer. I heard the sound of help sometimes, and I could not tell you whether the sound was from male or female because my house was located a bit away from the pagoda. Question. Did you hear the sounds for help simultaneously with the loud music? Answer. I would hear the screaming for help during the time that the loud music was being played. Question. Regarding the people who were arrested from Saitso village, how did you know that those people were from a Saitso village? Answer. The kitchen where I was staying was opposite the gate of the pagoda, so I could see that those people were brought through the gates of the pagoda. Question. on the day that you saw the people who had been arrested and brought into the pagoda, did you hear the loud music? Answer: they played the loud music on that night. Question: after those people were arrested from Saxo village and brought into the compound of the pagoda, did you hear the loud music being played on that night? Answer: the loud music was being played on that night after they arrested those people. Co-prosecutor, I a while ago asked you the general questions in relation to the security center. Now I am focusing on the day that the Saxo villagers were arrested. On that day, how long did they play the loud music? Answer: I told you already that the music was being played for 1 or 2 hours. Question: did you ever enter the compound of the pagoda? Answer: I did not dare to stay close to the pagoda. No one was courageous enough to stay close to the compound of the pagoda. Question: was there any ban not to allow people entering into the pagoda, or did you yourself feel afraid not to enter into the pagoda? Answer: I did not dare to stay close to the compound since I was simply a worker in the cooperative. Question: how long did the security center operation last for? Answer: the security center was not in operation after 1979. Question: did you know the name? Do you know the name of the chief of that security center? Answer: during that time, I did not know the name of the security center chief, but I heard the horn was chief. Question: did that individual horn become a security center chief until the end of the regime, or did someone else replace his position? Answer: after the Southwest cadres came to my area, Horn was appointed to be security chief until the end of the regime. Co-prosecutor: thank you, Mr. President. I would like now to hand over the floor to my esteemed international colleague. President, you may now proceed.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honours. Good morning, Council, and good morning to the general public. And good morning to you, Mr. Witness. Mr. President, I'd like to show the witness a map of the area that he lived in, and I would ask that we place on the screen E3/9145. Your Honours, it's a map that was made in 1993 of the electoral areas in Kang Mias, and it's an excerpt from that map, and it's enlarged so that it's easier for the witness perhaps to be able to see. And the only changes are that the Khmer names have been added because it was only in English, and there's been some highlight placed on the map. and I would ask if the court clerk could hand this map to the witness as well. It might be easier for him to see off the screen.
President, you can do so.
If I can ask that the map be placed on our screens.
President, you may proceed.
I believe it should be on the screen now. Mr. Witness, if we look at this map, it is a map of the area of Pim Chikang commune, and it identifies the village that you resided in, Sambo Mias A, Village A, and also it identifies Saksa, the other village that you stayed in, and other surrounding villages. If you have a look at that map, does it seem fairly accurate to how villages were placed near each other where you live?
Answer, yes, it is accurate.
And perhaps if we look at that map, and if it could go on the screen again, please. If we look at Danmark Snee, it's hard to read the English, but we believe that's the place. How far is Damnak Snee from Saksa? About how many kilometres?
Answer, it was about over 1 kilometer away from Damnak Swai to Saxo village.
And you said during the Democratic Kampuchea period, I think you said early you lived in Sambo Mias Village A, and then you moved to Saksa and lived there for a while. Is that correct?
Answer, yes, that is correct.
And then during the Democratic Kampuchea period, after you lived at Saksa, well, did you stay there until 1979, or did you move back to your house in Sambo Mias A?
Answer, in late 1976 or 1977, I was allowed to go back and live in Sambuamir, a village, in a cooperative.
Thank you. And you stayed there till the Pol Pot regime fell, is that correct? Until the Vietnamese came in 1979.
Answer, yes, that is true.
So, from when the Khmer Rouge first arrived in your area before Democratic Kampuchea until the Khmer Rouge were defeated in 1979, you only stayed in 2 houses, is that correct? one at Sambos Mias Village A, and one at Saksa.
Answer, yes.
And you answered this question, but is the village of Saksa and the village of Sambos Mias A, do they join each other or do they separate by vacant land? And I'm talking back in the Democratic Kampuchea period.
It joined one another.
And if we look at Sambo Mias Village B, how far away is that from Village A?
It is not that far. Actually, it is simply a series of villages adjacent one another.
And if I could ask the audio-visual to place the map on the screen as we discuss this, please. So from the centre of Sambos Mias Village B to the centre of Sambos Mia Village A, about how many kilometres would that be from each other, even though they join, but from the centre of both villages?
If you think of the distance, it is difficult, but in fact, these two villages border each other, and the bordering line is about 500 meters.
Thank you. So do you also see the border of the sub-district of Angkaban and the border of that sub-district to the village of PM Chikang? How far is that? About how many kilometres?
From PM Chikong to Angkoban, the linkage by means of border demarcation is about 1 kilometer.
Thank you. And it's not clear when we look at this map, but the villages of Sambos Mias, Saksa, they're all on the Mekong River. That's correct. You see the Mekong River right next to those villages. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. They are situated along the river.
Thank you. And if we look at the map again, if we look at Sambos Mias A, your village, I think you said Wat Otrakon Pagoda was in that village. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And then if we look at the village of Damnak Snay, that's in Pim Chikang sub-district. Is that correct?
Yes, it is located in PM Chikong commune.
And then if we look at the village of Rockoroy, which is further east of Saksar, that's in a different commune, a different sub-district. Is that correct?
No, it is different.
So, when you were working as a commune militia, is it fair to say that you would work between Sambos Mia B and the Pim Chikang village along that road and in that general area? Was that where you did your militia duties?
Yes.
And did you have a motorbike? Were you able to move around the different villages with some form of transport when you were a militia?
Now, the means of going anywhere for us is by foot or on foot. There was no bicycle.
So, would it be fair to say that your militia duties had you travelling distances of about 4 kilometres, or sorry, about 1 kilometre from Angkor Ban to Pim Chikang? Well, how far is the border of Angkor Ban to Pim Chikang? You may have answered that question, but if you can answer it again, please.
If you talk about the border of Pim Chikong, I think the length of the border is about 1.5 kilometers.
Thank you. And you said that when you were living in Sambalmias Village A, the pagoda was about 200 metres from your house. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. Just while we're looking at the map, one last moment. Can you tell the court where the Pim Stadium is? Is there a stadium in Pim Chikang?
In Pim Chikong, there is a Pim Stadium. In fact, if you cross a creek from the Pim Chikong side to the other village, then you will see the Pim Stadium. And the Pim Stadium has been built since the old regime.
And was that a football stadium, a soccer stadium? What type of stadium was it?
It was a football stadium since the old regime.
And just so we're clear, how far is the stadium from your home village, Sambosmias Village A?
The distance from PM Stadium to Sambu a village is about 1.5 kilometers.
Thank you. Perhaps we've finished with the map now. Thank you for helping us with the geography of your area. And I'd like to ask you a few questions about the meeting you went to at Damnak Snay. You mentioned that you went to that meeting and you had a discussion. The villagers were invited there, and also the district secretary was there, where he asked the villagers to respect Angkar, to work hard. Do you remember that meeting?
Yes, I do.
And you mentioned that Khan chaired the meeting, and he was from the southwest zone. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
But Khan had become the district secretary for Kang Mias. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you remember going to another meeting, or maybe we're talking about the same one? Do you remember going to a meeting at PM Stadium in early 1977?
I cannot recall that, and in fact, I did not attend the meeting in 1977.
During the Democratic Kampuchea period, did you attend a meeting with the Sector Committee Secretary, Ahn, for Sector 41, and the District Committee Secretary, Khan? Did you ever attend a meeting with both of those people there?
I did not attend the meeting that you said, because once I had been reassigned to live and work at the cooperative, I did not attend that kind of a meeting.
Did you ever hear of a meeting at PM Stadium from other people?
No, I did not. I focused on the work that I was assigned to do, and we were not allowed to make any contact crossing villages. Such contact was fully banned during the regime.
Thank you. If I can just read back to you the statement you made to the investigator from the ECC, and that's E3/9346, English 0023 5508, Khmer 0023 5016, and French 0028 3948. And you were asked this question by the investigator a few years ago. Did anyone explain why they arrested the people? You answered no, but in early 1977, they held a meeting at the PM Stadium. All the villagers had to attend. The Sector Committee, Ahn, and the District Committee, Khan, convened the meeting and told us to work harder for Angkar. Then they said that there were enemies among the people. After that meeting, the arrest accelerated both day and night. So that's the answer that's been recorded of you telling the investigator. Does that refresh your memory to a meeting at the Peam Stadium or any other meeting where the sector secretary, An, was present?
I attended the meeting amongst all the villagers, men and women, and Khan, the chief, actually called all the unit chiefs to attend that meeting as well. As for An, the sector chief, I am not fully sure if I can recall that information correctly.
Thank you. And you gave this statement in 2008, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, perhaps if I can ask you about when you said that at that meeting, or at the meeting that you went to, there were enemies among the people. Do you remember going to a meeting with Khan where that was said, that there were enemies among the people?
Yes, that was said.
And did Khan say who the enemies were?
No, he did not. He only referred to the so-called enemy, and later on people had been arrested successively.
During the Democratic Kampuchea period in your area, did you ever see Sector Secretary An?
Since that meeting, I did not see Ant anymore. However, I saw Kant rather regularly, who was the district chief at the time.
Just to be clear, a moment ago you said you weren't sure whether An was at the meeting, and then you just said that after this meeting I didn't see An anymore. Do you remember seeing An, the secretary of the sector, at that meeting?
There were many people attending the meeting, and I cannot recall everyone. The only person that I actually remember well was Khan, who actually made an opening speech for the meeting, and I myself was rather afraid at the time.
Where did District Secretary Khan come from?
Please repeat your question.
Was Secretary Khan originally from Kangmias district, or did he come from somewhere else?
people said he came from the southwest. Everybody said that, and I did not know from which part of the southwest he came.
You said this meeting was held in early 1977. How much earlier had Khan taken up the position as district secretary?
I cannot remember the specific period of the year. We saw them all came probably around late 76 or early 77.
And when you say that they all came, are you talking about cadres from the south-west zone?
Yes, that's what I meant.
And when those cadre came to Kang Mias district, did they start taking up positions of authority in the district?
Yes, they took authority in the area, in the district.
And what happened to the people that were in positions of authority? Say, for example, what happened to the district secretary of Kang Mias and other people in positions of authority? What happened to them when the southwest zone cadre came?
I am not really sure about this point. However, the former cadres had been arrested and killed, all of them.
How do you know that?
Because those former cadres disappeared. And during the regime, everybody understood that disappearance meant death.
Just going back to where you were living during the period, you said you lived in Saksao and you also lived in Sambo Mias A. How long did you live in Saksao village during that, say, three years and 8 months, from 1975 to 1979? How long did you live in Saksao?
I lived in Sacho village intermittently. For instance, in 1976, I lived there, but then I was sent to work elsewhere, to work in the rice field. And I was assigned to be member of the militia to guard the village in Sacho in around mid-1976.
But was your primary place of residence, the place where you lived the most, was that in Sambos Mias Village A? Was that where you lived most of the time, or was it Saksa?
I spent most of my time living in Sambumi A village.
So, did you live in Saksa for 1 or 2 months, or 3 months, or 1 year? About how long? During Democratic Kampuchea?
Sometimes I stayed for a fortnight in Saiso, then I returned to my house for 1 or 2 nights, then I returned back, then I went back to Saiso.
You said after the meeting with District Secretary Khan that in your statement you said the arrests accelerated both night and day. Can you explain where those arrests were happening and how you knew that arrests accelerated night and day after that meeting in 1977?
When I returned from my work and while I was having my gruel, I saw people being transported or walked, including young children. However, I saw the event from a distance, and I did not know where those people had been taken from.
I'm not referring now to that day that you saw Cham being arrested from Saksar village. I'm not referring to that day. I'm referring to more generally. You said that the arrest accelerated both night and day. How did you know that? Was it because you lived opposite the pagoda and you could see people being taken in there night and day after 1977? Or can you explain how you know that this was happening so much?
I said I saw what happened, and that happened after I returned from working in the field. I was busy working during the daytime, and usually when I returned back to the cooperative, I had to have my gruel, and then I returned to water wheel again. And what I stated in that statement is what I saw from a distance.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that day that you saw Cham being taken to the pagoda. I'm not talking about that day. I'm talking about your statement when you said that after the meeting in early 1977 with Khan, that you said the arrests accelerated both night and day. How did you know that? Was it because your house was next to the pagoda and you could see people going in daily, nightly, or any other way? If you can tell us, please.
I saw the events with my own eyes. All the people could see it. Sometime during the meal time at noon, while we were having gruel, we saw those people being transported. And I could see young children, I could see pregnant women. They were all taken into the pagoda. And surely, if such event was happening during the daytime, at night time, loudspeaker would be played. President, thank you, Mr. Deputy Co-Prosecutor. And witness, it is now appropriate for our lunch break. We'll take a break now and resume at 1:30. And we would like to inform the co-prosecutors and lead co-lawyers for civil parties that the remaining time for you for the afternoon session is 40 minutes. Court officer, please assist the witness during the lunch break and invite him back into the courtroom at 1:30. And security personnel, you instruct you to take Kiew Sampon to the awaiting room downstairs and have him returned to attend the proceeding this afternoon before 1:30. The court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ